Hello, Carrier Aviation fans. This is Houndawg bringing you more historical aircraft from the past 100 years of U.S. Navy carrier aviation. Today, we are focusing on 7 carrier aircraft that were developed during World War II but came too late to participate in the war. While some were more successful than others, all suffered the same fate of reduced or canceled production numbers due to the dramatic changes in military defense requirements and the strategic shift to jet aircraft. Unfortunately, we do not have flying simulator models of these aircraft, but it is still worthwhile to review their individual histories and photographs.
The first aircraft, the Curtiss XBTC, was an experimental carrier-based single-seat, single-engine, low-wing monoplane torpedo bomber powered by a 3,000-horsepower Pratt & Whitney R4360 Wasp Major radial engine with contra-rotating propellers. Responding to a competitive proposal, the Curtiss Aircraft Company delivered 2 prototypes to the Navy in July 1946 for testing at the Naval Air Test Center, Patuxent River, Maryland. Despite its power, first-class performance, and superior weapons carrying capacity, it lost the competition to the Douglas AD-1 Skyraider and the Martin AM Mauler. The Navy canceled the program after both XBTC prototypes crashed in 1947. The Army also declined to pick up the program as their A-40 attack aircraft. The Martin AM Mauler was a carrier-based single-seat attack bomber powered by the 3,000-horsepower Pratt & Whitney R4360 Wasp Major radial engine, driving a 14-foot, 8-inch diameter, 4-bladed propeller. The first XBTM made its maiden flight on 26 August 1944 and began flight testing at the Naval Air Test Center on 11 December 1944. Major deficiencies, including structural weaknesses in the rear fuselage, delayed the Mauler's carrier operations certifications until August 1948, 4 years after the first prototype flight. The Mauler also earned the nickname Able Mabel because of its remarkable load-carrying ability, once lifting 10,648 pounds of ordnance, including 3 2,200-pound torpedoes, 12 250-pound bombs, plus the 4 20mm guns and ammunition, perhaps the heaviest load ever carried by a single-engine piston-powered aircraft. In service, the Mauler's continuous maintenance problems, especially with the leaking hydraulic system, and the difficulty of landing it aboard a carrier, caused some pilots to give it the nickname of Awful Monster. Although the Skyraider was a third smaller and carried a third less bomb load, it proved more reliable in service and easier to fly and land, and Navy pilots preferred it. The Mauler remained in frontline service only until 1950, when the Navy switched completely to the smaller and simpler Skyraider. The Mauler remained in reserve squadrons until 1953. The Curtiss XBT-2C was an experimental single-engined torpedo dive bomber based on the Curtiss XBTC, but used the less powerful Wright R3350 radial engine and could carry a second crew member in the rear fuselage. It was fitted with radar, which was carried in a pod under the starboard wing. 9 production aircraft were built and would be the last aircraft that Curtiss would build for the U.S. Navy. All were scrapped in the late 1940s. The Douglas XTB-2D Sky Pirate, also known as the Devastator II, was a torpedo bomber powered by the 3,000-horsepower Pratt & Whitney R4360 engine, driving contra-rotating propellers. The Sky Pirate would have been the largest carrier aircraft at the time, and was capable of carrying 4 torpedoes or an equivalent bomb load on underwing pylons. Defensive armament consisted of 2 20mm cannons in the wings and 2 50-caliber machine guns mounted in a power-operated dorsal turret. The first prototype flew on 13 March 1945, and testing was proceeding on schedule until the war ended on 15 August 1945. As was the case with many other World War II developed aircraft, the Navy canceled the order for production aircraft, and the two prototypes were scrapped in 1948. The Curtiss XF-15C was a mixed propulsion fighter prototype, similar to the earlier Ryan FR Fireball. It was powered by a 2,100 horsepower Pratt & Whitney R2800 18-cylinder air-cooled two-row radial engine and an Alice Chandler's J36 turbojet. The F-15C had a top speed of 469 miles per hour, making it the fastest fighter in the U.S. Navy at that time. The second prototype flew for the first time on 9 July 1945 and was soon followed by the third prototype. The F-15C showed promise, but by October 1946, the Navy lost interest in the mixed power concept and focused only on jet fighters. The Goodyear F-2G Super Corsair was a carrier-based interceptor fighter developed by the Goodyear Aircraft Company based on experience manufacturing the FG-1/F-4U Corsair. It was powered by the larger and 50% more powerful Pratt & Whitney R4360 28-cylinder 4-row radial air-cooled engine. Only 10 aircraft were completed by the end of the war, and disappointing flight performance test results had confirmed that the Grumman F-8F Bearcat could do all the F-2G could do while still powered with the Corsair's original smaller double Wasp engine. This made the F-2G redundant, and the Navy canceled further production. Our last aircraft today was one of the early Navy jet aircraft. Chance Vault was awarded a contract for 3 Vault F-6U Pirate prototypes on 29 December 1944. The Pirate was the first U.S. Navy jet-powered fighter with an afterburner and the first constructed with composite materials consisting of metallite for the skin and Fabrilite for the tail surfaces. The metallite was made of balsa wood that was sandwiched between 2 thin sheets of aluminum, and the Fabrilite used fiberglass instead of aluminum. The initial prototype made its first flight on 2 October 1946. Test flights revealed severe aerodynamic and directional stability problems requiring multiple changes, as well as the replacement of the metallite panels near the engine's exhaust with stainless steel ones due to overheating. The first production F-6U performed its initial flight on 29 June 1949. The judgment from the evaluation was that the Pirate was unacceptable for operational use. Naval aviators gave the F-6U the nickname Houndawg. On 30 October 1950, the Navy officially notified Vault that the F-6U had proven so submarginal in performance that combat utilization was not feasible. The 33 aircraft built ended up being used primarily to develop arresting gear and train mechanics. All F-6Us achieved a total combined flight time of less than 1,000 hours before being withdrawn from service in 1950.